This is Terry Zinowich with Caffewerks. Today what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple of concepts behind utilizing Flojet pumps to deliver water to devices on your food cart, espresso cart, and or food truck. The first unit we're going to show you today is the Flojet booster system. I like to use this system to provide pressurized water to all the devices in a mobile food cart. Because what this does is delivering 4.5 gallons per minute of water at about 45 psi, and it does a very nice job of delivering positive pressure to all of the devices. We're also utilizing an accumulator on this system, and what this does is provides about an additional 20 psi of pressure downline so that the pump doesn't have to cycle on and off every time there's a demand for water. Now, if you can imagine, underneath your truck or in your food cart, you have a large vessel of water, and you need to get that water from your vessel to the device. This is the inlet port of the pressure pump. It's a diaphragm pump that we're utilizing, and this particular device here is a strainer. The strainer is going to collect any coarse particulate before it enters into the pump. So this fitting here is a shark bite fitting. It's half-inch NPT to 3/8 polyethylene pipe. I like to use these because they're very similar positive pressure type fittings, and they screw right onto the Flojet inlet on the strainer. So we install this onto the strainer, and then we have the black polyethylene pipe. We're going to press fit that polyethylene pipe into the fitting and then run it out to the water vessel. So in the instance of a food truck, you're going to have a large water vessel underneath the truck. Typically what you're going to have underneath that truck is an inlet port. On that inlet port, you can screw in another type of press fitting, and we're going to pull the water out of that vessel to the pump. Once the water has made it to the pump, this vessel is a pressurized system called an accumulator, and it helps force the water down the line and maintain pressure in the line so that the pump doesn't have to cycle on every time. Now, one of the things that's going to help us maintain that pressure downline once it's left the accumulator is a check valve, and we're using a 3/8 to half-inch threaded nipple to make the adaptation over to this. Screw that onto the nipple, and in the instance of these plastic to plastic fittings, we're going to use a product called Teflon tape. So once we have this check valve in place, water can't flow backwards, but it can flow forward. After the check valve, we're going to take a small piece of the tubing, we're going to press fit that in there, and we're going to go ahead and put an on-off valve in place. That on-off valve is going to allow us to turn off our mainline arterial of water when we need to do service or add another device. Now, with that said, as we go down the line, and this is our main line of water, we may need to put a T in from time to time to run out water to an additional device. In doing so, from our main line, press fitting, and then another water line out to the device that we're trying to provide pressurized water. The system is very simple to put together, utilizing press fittings, polyethylene pipe, and using the Flojet booster pump system. This particular booster pump system is a 12-volt pump, however it comes in 110 volts with the same ratings, 45 psi, 40 psi at 4 gallons per minute. Now, if you have an espresso machine downline of all of this, this accumulator is going to do a great job of providing downline pressure and a consistent downline pressure. But the other thing we're going to recommend is the use of this smaller, this is about a half-liter accumulator tank. It comes with fittings from Flojet that snap in and out quite simply. They're double O-ring. They go into the accumulator tank. You press the fitting down, you run your tubing into it, and then your tubing out to the device that you need plumbed water.